Yep.
All right, what's good, YouTube? We're back.
What's up,
Um,
guys?
Here I am, Shajiba, with my boy Mark Martinez,
Soul Rebel.
Soul Rebel. Here we are. We're just doing our thing. You know what I'm saying? It's been a while since we recorded an episode, but I'm glad to have you back. So, Mark, tell me how you feel.
Feel great, man. Feel
Yeah,
great. Life is life, bro, and life
life
is
is life.
good.
So, how have you been recently? How's life treating you?
Life has been treating me good, man. You know, it's a it's a day-to-day journey, my bro. Day-to-day journey.
So, in the last couple of months, is there anything you've learned that you'd like to share with the world?
We have no control of anything.
Interesting. Can you elaborate?
So we wake up in the morning and we could plan a day accordingly. We can schedule, but life has a way to just not schedule other people and their reactions or the world's reaction or the events that could happen,
Hmm.
even our own health.
Gotcha.
People have a friend goes to the gym all the time. Uh, he's a beautiful, beautiful brother, man. He actually
Mm.
was born with cerebral palsy, and he actually strived to become a certified trainer, which he did. And then about a month ago, he was diagnosed with
Wow.
cancer. Still has three more rounds of chemo to go. But the most inspiring thing is that not only does he go to the gym and became a certified trainer, but even talk to him through this journey of his, he's actually expressed how he doesn't have control and all he has control over is to be in gratitude.
Gratitude is the soul for the wine. So it's important everyone gets drunk. Um,
On gratitude.
so on gratitude, of course, not actually getting.
So how have you been, brother?
I've been good, man. It's been a wild ride. I've been, living. Right now, I'm just trying to focus on, getting more stable, getting my life on track, career-wise, financially, health-wise, mental health-wise. I've made. It's been a wild ride, but I'm making good progress, I would say. Um, Now, let me ask you this: uh, how long have you been living in South Florida?
My whole
Your whole
life.
life. How has the scene changed over the years for you?
Oh man. Uh, as you know, when I was a child, South Florida was South Florida. Um, Came from a good family, so my parents were, were incredible parents, and I was blessed enough that they always cared where I was. And but when I was growing up, I mean, people know Miami-Dade as the cocaine capital when I was growing up. So
Yes, sir.
it was
Escobar.
different times. Um, it was just different. Miami had on the skyline. Miami had like five buildings. Like going to downtown Miami was like nothing to like what it is now. Uh,
Yeah.
so Palm Beach right now is like what Miami was in the 90s.
Interesting. That's an interesting take.
Like a good way to put it.
All right. Um, Let me ask you this: how are you doing personally?
Personally, I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a year since I moved into this house. It's sober living. I've my life is has got into a journey of recovery, man. I don't really tell people that because people get weird, especially like
Mhm.
my choice of not drinking and not smoking and not doing things has really nothing to do with the fact that I don't want to. It has to do with the fact that I have found Um, I found an addiction to be sober. It's amazing when a person does not allow their emotional state or what's going on dictate your dependency on substances or people.
Hmm.
So the last year of my life, I mean, I've always depended upon God, but now
Hmm.
it's real dependency on God. I realized that a lot of my life was built on codependency. Um,
I can relate.
so my life has been, believe it or not, the best it's been. Now it's not this grandest thing. It's like, yeah, no, but what I mean by that is that I'm in my right mind.
No, I can definitely relate to that. I mean, I've had certain substance issues myself, and I definitely made the mistake on depending on a couple of things that I probably shouldn't have depended on. And it's something that everybody tells you, hey, you shouldn't go this down this road, but you don't really
You don't even
understand it
realize
until
it.
you actually go through it yourself. It's like that saying. It's like you can tell the child to not go to the fire, but until that fire burns that child a little bit, that child will never know the actual danger of that fire. If you can say it 100 times, but that curiosity will always have that child go towards that fire.
And and sometimes that fire though, it actually brings a certain sense of satisfaction. So you go to it and you're
Yes.
getting burned by it,
Yes.
but that burn comes with like good memories and things like that.
It's an important lesson.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is.
And you can't instill that on someone until they actually feel the pain. That just that saying, you will learn when it hurts, you know what I'm saying?
You will. The thing is, while you're going through it, you don't realize it.
uh,
It's normal to have a rough day at work and go have a beer.
yeah.
Society has put it that way, and I'm not saying that there's something wrong with that.
Mm,
There's some people that could do that.
just don't depend on it too much.
Exactly. Exactly.
So while your time here in South Florida, would you say that who would you say has been a big impact on your life?
Just in Florida in general.
Yeah, I mean Florida.
I mean, man, how could I say this? From teachers to my parents to outside of family, um, most of the people that have inspired my life aren't even from Florida. So the number
Mhm.
one being Yeshua HaMashiach.
Mhm.
Uh, he's from Nazareth, and basically, I would say inspirational wise, man. I mean, Miami. Just in Florida in general. Definitely say. I mean, I mean, man, how could I say this? From teachers to my parents to outside of
Yeah, it's hard to
family.
put all into one.
Most of the people that have inspired my life aren't even from Florida. So the number one being Yeshua HaMashiach. Uh, he's from Nazareth, and basically,
Mhm.
I would say inspirational wise, man. I mean, Miami, I would have to definitely say. Uh, I mean, there's so many people, man. It's hard to put all in one word, but I will say this. The people that I've gone through life and just they've given me some wisdom.
Oh my
Sometimes
god.
passerby wisdom.
For sure.
Um,
All right, let me ask you this.
but
If a book
the
was
one thing
written
about Florida
about
that never
your
lets you
life,
down
what would the title
is
be of that book?
like it's basically a place where you meet people from all walks and every country, and so you have to, you get a
They
taste
might
of
even turn
everything.
it
You
into a
get New
movie, so be
Yorkers,
careful here.
you get people that hate Florida but came to Florida. You know,
A great
being a native,
story.
that's very rare.
I guess mine would be The Man, the Myth, the Legend. Yes, sir. Now, is there any questions you have for me? So my parents are from Bangladesh, and I was born in the Emirates, and I
A
moved there
graceful
in
life.
2011. So I was what is it, 15?
The man,
15,
the myth, the legend, huh?
29 now.
So you're from where are you from?
Yes, I moved to Palm Beach. That I mean, it's interesting because those of us that
How
live in
old are you when you moved over
America,
here?
there are certain things we're kind of just so used to that
Okay.
we don't even really recognize
How was
it.
that?
Going back to the thing you mentioned, like
How
there's
was that
all
coming
walks of
from
life, all kinds
Bangladesh
of people
to
here. The
Florida? Did you move to
diversity
Palm
is
Beach? Was it
very
Palm Beach?
interesting.
Okay. How was that
Most
change in
things that happen
culture?
in America or South Florida in general don't happen anywhere else in the world. What I mean by that is you have a guy, from you're from Cuba, right? Miami. Yeah. So Miami Cuban, sitting with the Middle Eastern Bangladeshi, the diversity and the conversations that people have here, the willingness to work together, the willingness not to work
No, I'm
together
from Miami,
sometimes,
but my
just
family's from
that
Cuba. My father's from
it's
Colombia.
not
So
something you see in every country. It's just not. Another thing that's pretty cool, interesting is when you land here, you think everyone for whatever reason hates you, and I think part of it is like this programming of like, oh, Americans are very hard people. All they care about is money, which maybe there may be some truth to that, but it's also like there is a God's blessing in this country that I don't see anywhere else, whether it be China, Russia, what have you. So I would say that would be like one of the biggest things. The transition to sort of accommodating into an American lifestyle for an immigrant for myself is definitely difficult. But for me, I think I got lucky. I got the better end of the stick because I was much younger when I came. So like if I'm in my 30s, 40s, and then I have to accommodate to an American lifestyle, I think that would be much more difficult. So I trust God's plan on that. And here, let me ask you this. Tell me about a supposed failure that ended up being the biggest blessing in your life in disguise. All of them.
all of them, all of them, my brother. Anytime. So God's been so graceful, man, in my life that every time something has gone wrong, he's always worked it out for his glory. I always say that I'm exactly where I am. It's exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Mm,
Because if I wouldn't have gone through what I've gone through, I wouldn't have this that I mentioned earlier. I wouldn't be in such a relationship with the
mhm,
Most High, with Yahweh, or as you would say, Allah. Um, so I wouldn't have that relationship. I wouldn't have the certainty, and I wouldn't have had the revelations that He gave me. So all my failures, and even the ones to come, if I already know this,
mm.
if they come, they're just for His glory. It's only for it's only He will use my failure and use it as a vehicle so it could be a testimony and a glory
Mm.
for Him.
Okay. What is how do you feel about the snowbirds that come and go here in Florida?
I've been dealing with them my whole life. They're they're cool, man. I mean, they
Yeah.
bring the economy in, and they don't really
Yeah.
stay long. They only stay for half the year, but so it's kind of like a regular dynamic
Yeah, the
here in Florida.
traffic's wild though when they're here. I don't like it.
But traffic isn't that bad over here.
Yeah.
Traffic isn't that bad over here.
Yeah.
I'm excited that this is the beginning of a podcast, kind of like East meets West.
Yes,
Me
sir.
from West, you having
That's what we
a
call
Muslim background. Me, well, I was raised Catholic, but you know, um,
it.
but I think this is going to be exciting to just move forward with this, man, and you know, the revelations that we're going to have in these
Yeah.
podcasts,
Now, you
and
used to
things that we're
drink,
going to
right?
do.
And you no longer do. Right,
Yeah,
and you
that
no
was that
longer
was my
do.
that was
So,
my
how
drug of
did
choice.
how were you able to overcome that mountain of struggle from your dependency of drinking? And what advice would you give to someone that's going through a similar situation?
So you can never be better if you're
Mm,
drinking. Um, top of that, if you're dependent upon drinking, it only ends up into disaster, no matter how you put it. And that goes for anything.
Mhm.
To be
Yeah.
honest with you, uh, not to sound corny, but AA, the 12 steps, uh,
Yep.
mainly the higher power, God. Uh, people always ask me, like, hey, how are you sober? First, I do it day to day. It's not something it's not a goal that I have. It's not like I go out and I go, well, I'm not going to have a drink. Because people offer me a drink. I don't tell people when I'm out that I'm in recovery. So I'll go at the beginning of my recovery. I wouldn't go to a bar or anything like that because I was still, acclimating myself to, you know, to realize certain things. Uh, the thing is, once you get whatever anybody's going through, whatever you're, if you think alcohol or drugs are the problem, wait until you stop doing it. Because once you stop doing it, then you're left with yourself.
Hmm.
That's when it really starts.
Nothing but your thoughts.
Nothing but your
Nothing.
thoughts, nothing but you. Not now you're with you, and you're just like, and you have to deal
Yeah.
with you. So you have an emotional day or a
Yeah.
bad day, and you have to find out how you're going to deal with it and realize that you have to go through the motions of it. That was the first shock. However, meditation does help out with that. I
Yes.
do
Very
breathing
helpful.
techniques. Uh, it gets better and better. The more you do, the more practice you
Yeah.
get in that, the more of a state of mind that you get
For
into.
sure. Yeah. For me personally, one thing that really, really helped me is kratom and kava. That's kind of where we
Yeah.
met in kava bars. I go to kava bars a lot. I personally recommend Island Vibes in Del Rey or Riptides if you're ever in the area. The thing for me is, I think a lot of people are coming to the realization that obviously alcohol is not the answer, and you don't necessarily need it to have a good time. And me personally, I would recommend going to a kava bar and having a good time there because it's just everything you want in a bar except the alcohol.
And it's not
Yes, there's
just, it's also
coffee, there's
coffee,
food.
food, and you can bring food
Yes.
from outside places. What I like about that atmosphere is that I could go there, I could do a Bible study, I could have an open conversation with people, and then you meet people from like different walks of life there. The cool thing about it is you're meeting people in a sober mind, so it's kind of like a bar setting,
Yes.
but
Yes.
with sobriety with it. And
Yes.
kids could come. The pool tables are free, which is
Sometimes.
nuts. Ping pong is
Yes.
free. They have most places
Yeah.
have video games. They have like PlayStation, Xboxes. I mean, whatever you want.
Yep.
Then they have karaoke nights. They have bingo nights, and it's a place where you just go and hang out. I mean, I've met some incredible people. When we met at Pause,
Yeah.
it started getting me back into
Shout out
poetry.
pause. Yeah. It was a
Yeah,
tragedy
man,
that it had to
it was
close,
sad.
but
It was sad. It was
man,
sad.
it
It was
was
sad.
I was some of the
Yeah, I
most
met
beautiful people I've
a
ever
lot of
met
awesome
were
people.
at
I mean,
pause.
my boy Ryder. I met very
Yeah.
unique people at the time, and it was crazy because I was, you know, because I go to groups and I go to recovery church, and most people in recovery and everything like that, they don't do the kava,
Yeah.
the kratom. Like me, I don't I don't chase after anything anymore. So the only reason I really go is for to hang out. It's actually a place I can go instead of being home and being on my computer and doing some studying here. I could actually go and just sit there and lay down on a sofa and just
Mm.
computer. I could read a book. Like the music is never too loud. It's just a place to lounge and chill. Just like a Starbucks.
Yeah.
Just a lot more relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
And they're open till like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Sometimes 4 or 5.
but
Whatever.
with anything, but people do. whether it's kava or kratom, whatever you do, too much of anything is bad, right?
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't get you to that point. I mean,
No, if you're getting off of alcohol, if you're in recovery at any point, I definitely recommend
yeah,
kratom
I,
or
I
kava.
recommend just going through your steps, and that's me
Yeah,
personally.
yeah, yeah. I mean, to
To
each
each
his
his
own,
own.
really.
To each his own.
Yeah. All right, let me hit you with some
Let's
rapid
go.
fire
Like Uzi
questions,
style or
like real quick. Beach or swimming pool?
beach
Fuck yeah. Okay. Best local restaurant that tourists don't know about.
that tourists don't know about? Man, there's so many.
Shout out anyone.
Dadas.
Dadas.
Let's go
All
over
right,
there.
gotta check that
That's
out. Would you consider yourself a sunrise or sunset person?
sunrise.
Sunrise. Okay. One word to describe living in Florida.
Breezy.
Chaos. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Texting or calling?
Calling.
Spotify or radio?
Spotify.
Netflix or live TV?
Netflix.
Uh, Plan ahead or wing it?
Plan ahead. Little combination of both.
Little comedy.
I like spontaneous too.
Gotcha. Hot weather, cold weather.
Don't like. I like it to be 70 degrees. 70 and then 60 at night. That's like, yeah,
70 at all
70 and
times,
60.
60 at night.
High 70s during
All
the
right.
day, 60s at night.
Gotcha.
That's the
Any questions you have for me?
yeah, man. So so you're 20. What is it? 20,
28.
28,
28.
28.
Yeah. Almost 29.
So I'm almost 20 years older than you, which is crazy.
I mean,
Age
age is
is a
a
number.
number,
Age
but
is
who
definitely a
cares?
number. Um, I praise God that you know, um, I'm youthful in many aspects, and I thank God I go to the gym. Stay healthy. Um, but when I was your age, man, it was different, man. It really was. These cell phones really, people were still using digital cameras. You know what I'm saying? No digital cameras. Yeah, it was Kodaks or whatever it was, but it was digital cameras. Like you didn't have cameras on the phone.
Kodaks,
You didn't have video cameras on the phone either. That changed everything.
Fujifilm, all that. Camcorders. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Now, do you have a family here in Florida or
Yeah, of course.
Cuba?
My mother and father.
Nice.
Yeah, all my family's here in Florida.
Yeah,
Have some family outside of Florida, but for the main part here in Florida.
gotcha.
I have family in Georgia.
Yeah, yeah, I got some family in Bangladesh and then in Abu Dhabi, where I was born, and then I got some here in West Palm too. They run a bunch of gas stations and
Can I ask you a
stuff.
question? Why? So I
Um,
noticed that, like,
yeah.
is that like and excuse me for if I sound ignorant, but ignorance is just not knowing.
No, please.
So I see people from India, you know, certain areas from over there, they go and get educated, and their goal is actually to come here and own a convenience store or a motel. So, for example, when I was underwriting for the insurance companies, a lot of times, a lot of the motel owners or the last name Patel, you know, why is that something that like people strive for over there? Like they say, hey, you know what? I'm going to get educated and then go to America and
So most people just want to run some sort of a business when they're here, right? By the way, it's funny you mentioned that because West Palm specifically is like the number one capital for Indians, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis to own convenience stores and gas stations. To your point, so that's I mean you're a very smart person for noticing that because not a lot of people do. Yeah, I think their choice of they want to run a business, and generally what they find themselves good at is running either a convenience store or sometimes a laundry or something like that. So yeah, I mean, I have uncles who own like a couple of 7-Elevens, a couple of different gas stations here and there, and it's good money when you own, like, if you own one or two. I don't think you'll make that much money because the gas company takes a lot of it in terms of revenue. But if you have like a more multiple, then it's finally you start to get on the green profitable sides.
Yeah, the gas stations
No,
really
no,
don't make
no.
money off the gas. Their,
They
their money
barely
comes from
make
the
money,
store.
dude.
It's what the store sells
Yeah.
inside, and then some of them, like some of the locations here in Palm Beach, they they rent out, like they sublease to like a bakery or a pizza.
Yeah.
Especially here in Palm Beach, they'll put like a food truck
Mm.
on their property, like a Cuban pizza place.
Yeah.
I think it's genius, but it's amazing how they just, I guess they just the cost of goods sold. You know, uh,
Yeah. But yeah, no, to your point, yeah, they do own, they do like to run gas stations and convenience stores a lot. So the stereotype does hold up, Indians in gas stations or whatever. It's either that or they'll just become a doctor or an engineer. There's really no, culturally speaking, like from peer pressure from friends and family in that manner. You can be a doctor, engineer, or a business owner, and usually gas station, convenience store business owner. So there you have it. Now let me ask you this, because you asked me, what do Cubans who come here generally, what type of industries do they go into?
it's changed, but typically it'd be construction,
Construction. I've
construction,
seen it.
mechanic,
Yeah.
auto body, dealerships. But for
Mm.
the most part, it's changed. Roofing, it's changed
Mm.
now because where Cuba is, how Cuba is now. When you have
Yeah.
54 plus years or 50 plus years of a regime that basically has people illiterate, you know, the embargoes definitely
All
hurt.
the embargoes and
For the most
everything.
part, they they limit your food. People visit Cuba. I've never been. I won't go just because I'm not going to give that regime any money. But for the most part, like in the capital, they'll they'll cut the electricity for
Gotcha.
3 4 days a week in Havana. Yeah, like just cut the electricity. People will be without electricity. And
What? The
and if you look
capital?
at anything on YouTube of Cubans out
Wow.
there, I mean, when they're talking, they're not even talking Spanish. It's
That
like
is
a
crazy.
it's just different. Yeah, it's just different. So the Cuban that got here in the '80s, except for the Mariel, because that was just. I mean, he emptied
It's
out
like
the
their own
prisons
language.
and just said, "All right, here you go, America." Uh, for the most part, I mean, if you think about it, we have our.
Hmm.
All right, here you go, America. For the most part, I mean, if you think about it, we have our Marco Rubio.
Yeah.
Marco Rubio, his family came from Cuba, and he's kind of like the same background
Hmm.
that I have. Raised in Miami. He's older than me, not too much. Um, but for the most part, yeah, it was something that Cubans just strived to own stuff and to be their own boss because they're from communism, so they don't have that opportunity.
Yeah. Gotcha. All right. Well, hey, I mean, it was interesting having a conversation with you here today.
We're gonna do a
I
lot
look
more.
forward
We're
to a
gonna do
lot
a lot
more
more.
in the future. Yeah, no, our premise really is just, getting to know each other, East meets West, really bringing that to life, understanding each other's cultures, relating to experiences, living in Florida, this and that, and just kind of educating people as much as we can on anything, really.
Yeah, no, and we're gonna allow God
Yeah.
to just lift this up, and I'm sure we're gonna have incredible topics and people
Yep. A
and
lot of new ideas, a lot of things to come.
collabos too,
Uh,
man. We got
Collabs
collabs
too.
with other
Yeah,
podcasts.
yeah.
It's gonna be fun. It's
Absolutely.
gonna be
And
fun.
we're planning to stream too,
Well, I'm definitely gonna
eventually at some
stream.
point.
Well, hopefully soon. But also, everybody,
Yeah.
if you ever have a chance, come check out the Hobby House on Whatnot.
Hobby
Go ahead
House.
and check
That's where
out
it's at.
Hobby House,
Uh,
the Hobby House Ribs, and Hobby House TCG. It's an incredible show. Repacks, wax. If you're a hobby and you're in the hobby, please just go visit it. If you have the Whatnot app, just go in there and you'll see some quality products. I mean, I can't even tell you.
Absolutely. Make sure you go check out the website. I will make sure I do too. Thank you guys for watching again. This was a wonderful
Many more
episode.
to come.
Many
First
more to
one.
come.
Let's
Thank you,
go.
Mark,
Let's
my
do
friend.
this. Let's do this.
Let's
Peace
go,
out, y'all.
bro. Let's do this.